Hey everyone, and welcome back to another King Arthur Legends Rise video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about gear. Now, gear in this game is similar to other gacha games, and it's also very different. I think, in general, gear in this game, good gear, is very hard to get. It's an extremely valuable resource, and I don't know why it's so hard to get, to be honest, but it is. So, with that being said, you kind of have to treat gear in this game way different than gear in any other type of game that you've played in this genre. And I've played all of them. I've played Epic 7, I've played Awakened Chaos Era, I even played Raid Shadow Legends a long time ago, like 4 years ago. And gear in this game is certainly different than that. The reason being is currently, at the making of this video, there is only one item in the entire game that will allow you to change the stats on your gear, your substats. And that's this stat changing stone, which is a common item, I say, at the making of this video because with how young the game is, I don't know what's going to happen over the next year. So they might release like different stones, stat changing stones, where my opinion on gear can certainly change. But as of now, this is the only way that you can change substats. And the reason why gear in this game is so different and unique is substats on your gear, they kind of don't matter. They kind of don't matter, and they kind of do. And I'll expand on that. So, because this is completely random, if you have a good piece of gear, let's say this attack piece of gear, which isn't great. Let's see if we have a better example. I want a good example. All right, let's take this piece. So this is a crit set helm. It's got attack speed and crit damage as substats, and then effect resistance. Now, these items, these substats, are pretty good. 2 of the 3 are really nice for damage dealers. But effect resistance isn't great. The problem with that stat changing stone is if I roll this piece and I get crit damage, attack speed. Okay, so this is a great example. I got 1 roll into attack speed and 2 into crit damage. So this is already a strong piece. Depending on what that third roll is, HP. All right, so now I have HP percentage and I have effect resistance. These are 2 stats that are okay. However, they're not amazing. I would much rather have something like attack percentage and crit rate or something like that. But because this item is completely random, I can blow this whole thing up. I can destroy this piece of gear. If I change this stat and it changes the stat of crit damage or attack speed, this piece just went from, pretty good to really bad in a matter of 10,000 gold in one of these stat change stones. Stones. So, yeah, that's why it's so odd. So, these can be really unvaluable and then just super valuable at the same time. And the reason why I believe that is because gear is extremely hard to get in this game, let alone like 6-star legendary gear of a set that you can't farm, right? And what I mean by that is in the restricted area, your equipment dungeons, you can farm these 6 pieces of gear in the game, and that is it. Everything else, all of the other gear pieces, have to be they have to be crafted. So damage set, which is a great set, accuracy set, which is also very good, counter set, which has some unique applications but is strong, vigor set, which is the best set in the game. Elemental set also has its applications. So does resistance set. But those sets, good luck trying to get a 6-star legendary piece. Damage set is a little bit easier because you can farm these materials from Jeskelheg. Stuff like counter and vigor, you have to farm from the campaign, and the drop rates are just like pitiful. So you're burning so much energy to get just like enough for one piece. So why those stat changing powders are really important is because if you get a 5-star or 6-star legendary vigor set piece, it does not matter the substats. It really doesn't. You should literally keep all of those legendary pieces, roll them up to 12, and then try and change the stats as much as you need to change them to try and get a valuable piece. I think that's what you should try and do. The rare pieces, I really don't think you want to do that. When it comes to rares, what you want to do is try and find good substats. Like this piece, this isn't very good. I rolled 1 roll into attack percentage and 1 in defense. This should be trash. It really should. I can try and change this substat if I want to, but I don't think using these stat changing stones matter on rare pieces. I think you should be doing it on legendary pieces. Okay? So now that that's out of the way, I wanted to explain why those stat-changing stones make gear unique in this game. And now we can expand on how to actually cleanse your gear and all those things, when you should be getting rid of pieces, when you should be keeping pieces, everything of that nature. So first general rule, if you are in these equipment dungeons, and let's say you're farming up to stage 5. The best drops that you can get there are 4-star gear. When you have the ability to get 4-star gear, every other piece of gear that is underneath the highest star that you can achieve, you want to get rid of it. Okay? Especially in the 4-star range. So if you can farm up to 4-star and 3-star is the lowest, get rid of every single thing that is 3-star and just keep the 4 stars. When you get up to stage 7, you can farm 3 to 5 stars. So 3-star and 4-star gear, they should be completely out of your bag, and you should just have 5-star gear. Now, when you get to 9 and you're able to farm 4 and 6-star gear, this is where it gets a little nuanced. I think it's okay to keep some 5-star pieces that are legendary. If you have decent substats, if it's something where, let's say you have a legendary hero like Bedivere here. So Bedivere is an attack hero. Ideally, his helm, which gives you a base attack stat, you want this to be 6-star. I could have a huge upgrade here if I had the piece to do so. However, these substats are okay, and right now where I'm at in the game, he's farming things that I need him to farm, and I'm not ready to step up to the next level, so I don't need to update this. But let's say the main stat of his chest piece is defense. This main stat, I really don't care about. Because his defense, even though it will help him stay alive a little bit better, I care way more about the substats. So if I have a legendary piece of gear in a gear set that I care about, I am more concerned about the substats than the main stat. So a 5-star legendary piece will be okay to keep in this regard. You'll eventually phase out of it because you want everyone to eventually build up to a 6-star piece. But That's what I mean with if you can farm up to 6-star, it doesn't mean you automatically get rid of all of your 5-stars, because there are some 5-star legendary pieces that you should keep. Now, when it comes to 5-star rare pieces, these are going to be really, really rare for you to use. I think if you want to keep them, you can put them on other junk heroes that you may have to boost your account level, because your account power does matter. There are some really nice bonuses in here. So to trash gear automatically, I don't know if it's the best thing, but if you're coming up to a spot in your account where you have too many items, that's a good general rule of thumb. Now, when it comes to the 6 gear sets that you can actually farm here, that's a little different. I think you can be way more picky with those pieces of gear. So when it comes to the left side of your gear slots here, for attack, speed, crit, life drain, and defense set, you really want to be picky. So with your 5-star legendary pieces, stuff like this just isn't going to cut it. You should sell this immediately. You're not going to want to waste those stat changing stones on pieces of gear that you have a little bit of control over farming and can be a lot harsher on your substats. So stuff like this definitely goes. This stuff, it goes. This is an attack set. You don't want defense percentage. You don't want effect accuracy. And you certainly don't want flat defense. Effect resistance, this can be okay on niche people, but again, a part like this is gone. Also, 5-star gear in the rare spot, if you're able to farm 6-star gear, you want this gone. I know that these are 2 good substats, but I don't think it's worth leveling up and wasting your gold on it. When it comes to the speed set, so the speed set, I think, is a little more lenient than the attack set. For the speed set, basically this boost to this stat is way more valuable than a boost to your attack percentage. This is really niche just for damage dealers. Speed set can be put on anybody. It's literally like vigor. So 6-star pieces are rare. You certainly want to keep. When it comes to the speed set, like HP percentage and crit damage, this is okay. There are some damage dealers that scale off of HP. You might want to keep this. If you roll a couple times into defense, you could try and change the stat to get attack speed. Any triple roll that you can get on your gear in a speed set, you should keep it. So here, okay, I got HP. I don't know if I'd keep this. I can roll it up to 6. Okay, if I got 3 rolls into HP percentage, I would keep it. The reason being is I then have the ability to change that stat and keep changing it until I get attack speed. That's another really nice piece of information that people should utilize those changing stat powders for. When it comes to the critical set, I think this is pretty straightforward. It's just like the attack set. This piece, it might be usable on a rare or uncommon that I use in a niche situation as a damage dealer, like in the favor dungeons, but this will never go on a main person. At this point in the game, if you're going to be putting 5-star gear on someone, you need substats. Same things apply to life, defense, and the drain set, okay? If you have control over the substats, you will want to just farm those pieces. When it comes to the craftable pieces, when it comes to equipment crafting, damage set, accuracy set, counter, vigor, all of these things, if you have just 1 or 2 good substats on this, I would certainly keep it and then just roll those change stats. These sets are extremely expensive to craft. These gold pieces, these gold ingots, they cost a lot of energy. And this is, I don't know how many runs of stage 10, and I only have 244. And I think I might have already crafted some of these, like alchemized them up to get these ingots. So if I were to craft 5 pieces of this, half my stuff, well, 30% or 25%. I can't do math. 30%, sure. Or maybe it's even 40%. I don't know. Leave me alone. It costs a lot. It costs 250k gold. That's not a lot. But look how much wood and steel this costs. So, if I craft a legendary piece here and it's 6-star, I do not care what the substats are. I literally do not care. Because I will go in and I will change every single substat imaginable on that piece to make sure that it is a viable piece in that set that I can use. And I think that's the right approach. I think that's the more unconventional approach that I don't know if most people are recommending, but that's what I would do. 100%. The same is true, guys, for your keepsakes as well. In regards to Immortal, Strife, and Corrosion, you can farm all of these pieces. You can farm all of them. So your substats, your main stats, your 5 to 6-star pieces, that follows the same trajectory that I talked about as the other equipment dungeons. You want to use your gold ingots here to make these sets, because these pieces are so rare and hard to come by. You don't want to be wasting your other hard and difficult pieces to come by on these other sets. Also, your main stats are kind of important when it comes to the belt, orb, and the banner. So your substats, they're probably not going to matter as much here, but you can always change them with that powder as well. So that's how I would handle gear, guys. Just as a recap, whatever you can farm up to in the equipment dungeons. If you can farm up to, 3 to 4-star gear, get rid of all of your 3-star gear, just keep 4. Once you get up to 5, keep all of your 5-star gear, get rid of all of your 4-star gear. When you get to 4 to 6, get rid of all of your 4-star gear and all of your 5-star rares. You can keep your 5-star legendaries if it's not in a main stat that matters to that hero. If you have a support hero, the helm, 5-star legendary helm, perfectly fine, especially if it has good substats. Everything else, though, I would get rid of. That's how you keep your gear clean. When it comes to the sets that you have to craft, if you hit a legendary 6-star piece, do not care what the substats are. I would use all of your powders, all of your gems, your stat change stones on those pieces. Don't use it on really anything else. I think that's how you'll get the most bang for your buck on that stat change stone. So I hope this helped. I hope it was valuable. If you guys were struggling with this, again, I hope it gave you a little bit of clarity. And let me know how you guys manage gear in the comments. I just want to say again before we get out of here how much I appreciate the support, guys. It's been great. It gives me a lot more motivation to keep making videos for you. And I'm glad you guys have stuck with me through all of my rambling and long-form videos. So really appreciate that. And I hope you have a good day. I'll catch you on the next one. See you.